Okay, so let's start. Our second session in the afternoon is also on the topic of image recognition. So let us give our time to Claire. So let's, before she starts the talks, let us give her a big round of applause.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure, and actually also quite intimidating for me today to share with you here in the PyCon Hong Kong 2018 something that kind of coheres with the theme this year, machine can learn. And I'm your Hong Kong speaker, Claire Chung. Firstly, allow me to introduce a bit about myself. I'm actually studying PhD, not in computer science, but of cell molecular biology in the CHK, and I'm working on bioinformatics. I love Python for its simplicity and the good community support, and I use it every day in my data analysis, and also to ease some of my own tasks. And I love fun and challenges, and that's why I'm here today doing something totally different from my daily research. And 2 years ago, I had the honor to be invited by my very nice senior, Alan, to write a book on a method like data visualization with Python with the PyConHK publishing, and together with another lab mate, Arjun. And last year, we went on for another one with a slightly different scope and target. And this year, I got the chance to do something quite special. I became one of the several developers of a voluntary service team called Team Error, standing for Emotion Reorder Operation. Together, we developed a website called the website. Thank you. And although it's not written in Python, I hope to briefly share it with you today because living as a modern citizen in Hong Kong, sometimes we may feel quite stressful, and some of us actually suffer from different kinds of mental issues. And whether we need the support from these resources or wish to find good resources from the society to help people around us, we hope that this website can help. And now let me also set some expectations for the day. As I said, it's quite intimidating to me to share to you because at first when I applied for this conference, I didn't know about the theme, and I also didn't know about the audience. What I was hoping was that I could share with you how, as a layman, although I work with computer daily, I don't do machine learning for my projects, but how we can actually use the concept or learn about it to solve our own daily problems. And so, yeah, I just want to share with you some experience in that. And as I have quite a different background, as I've mentioned. And so, along the years, because my formal training is more on the biology side, I've run into so many friends and getting scared of the quote-unquote dark screen whenever I open the terminal. But with all these advancements of technology, especially in this golden era of machine learning, it would be quite a miss to not to have heard of anything or to understand anything about it. So I'm hoping this talk to serve as some kind of fun primer to motivate everyone. I think many of us here are actually coding and much more expert than me, but in case anyone may be watching this talk, to get a taste of some basics of machine learning and how it can relate it to us. And most importantly, we don't have to be experts to start working on machine learning. So I'm trying to make minimal assumption on the background, not too complicated codes or steps, and no complicated math, definitely, I promise. So I guess many of you are familiar with Python machine learning, so I'm sure you will feel more at home. But for this session, I just hope you will take something back and feel personally more closer with the latest trend. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. So here's our topic. Yes. Before telling you what I did for this mini project, let me tell you how did I come up with this topic. Firstly, for those of you joining us from other parts of the world, a warm welcome. And let me give you some ideas of what the term Hong girl or Gong Nui in Cantonese means. As the name implies, it literally means like ladies in Hong Kong, usually not referring to children or elderlies. But for quite a period of time since it first emerged, it has only been remarked as a kind of some connotation of contempt to describe females with certain set of unfavorable behaviors. Here are some excerpts from Wikipedia. The definition is taken from a book called The Conqueror Bible by a local author. Of course, as an academic, I won't cite Wikipedia in research, but you can see how some people think maybe being noisy, like gossiping, egocentric or something. Wait, what? Is that really true? I'll leave you to think that over because these are not focus today. Just to make sure you don't carelessly shout as people as Gong Nui is the first thing you meet some female from Hong Kong. But for today, I want to talk about some other impressions of Hong girls, where we jokingly refer people as one. By impressions, I guess not being any accurate or figurative. So here, how people on the internet these days understand each other, I suppose. Let's have a meme. Let's see. Right now, the times people think we are Gong Nui, and my friends probably think I do, like taking photos before each and every meal. My mom probably think I'm just is it showing? Lazy bone lying on bed, being lousy at home. It's a comic by a Taiwanese girl very tinted. And the society probably thinks as you just saw from the Wikipedia, we are all luxurious and carrying expensive handbags or something. Oh, well, I don't. But maybe I think I'm very artsy, classy. Not eating, right? I'm sorry. But as each and every one of us are just unique, whatever label we carry. I actually do all kinds of things. I play the violin, I like cats, and everyone else just do lots of other things. But what actually can earn me is what I imagine the stereotype of Gong Nui most is probably I take too many photos. And what brings me here is that I code. Some kind of. So here's the motivation. I just have too many photos. So that's a problem that I've kind of have in mind ever since I have my first digital camera. How should I organize my album? And this one is way before the age of Facebook, Instagram. You might say easy, isn't it? You can sort and it's automatically sorted in order the BSC is followed by some ID or is imported with the timestamp. But what I was thinking is, what if I want to fish out certain photo from the sea of thousands of photos years afterwards? I want to find a nice guy for my desktop wallpaper. I want to think about what did I do in a certain event, what friends I was with, and maybe how good was my photography skills back then. Well, for the latter, the timeline is easy and the rating is very personal, and it's harder to train. So I will just like to focus on the type one. Yeah, reminiscing old farmer ways, sounding old, isn't it? As like Iskander has already mentioned in way better details, and there are options like he mentioned the clarifying the surface, and also for us as the end users, we have the Google Photos. If you ever have an Android phone like me, you just simply get the notification suggest you to organize albums with Google Photos. They will tell you, oh, what if you use our special effects like jingles to your photos, or grouping and some similar photos into a collage. And sometimes they are very, it's very automatic, and you just have to confirm if you like the results. But sometimes it also does it too seriously, so I don't want, maybe I just take several similar photos because my hand was shaking for the first time, it's doing a collage. And also another option is like, also shown previous, it's kind of like the Amazon recognition. It would give like a more detailed breakdown of the predictions, but it will need a bit more know-how, and you need to register for that. And it's just, well, for Google Photo, for now we can actually like search like for food. It gives us an account for what kind of food images we have, but real moments, like the problem is the relevance. Like, what if I don't really want to upload everything to the internet, not everything to Google, or say for privacy concerns, and the raw images of my local albums are still not sorted, and like you probably know, like con girls, like I actually have my wallet made by myself, and we are under all this hype of machine learning and AI, so why don't we learn more about that? And so, yeah, the objectives, firstly, I wanted to organize my album at the same time to learn more about the image recognition. So, it's the DIY time. Like, it sounds simple. Like, I just collect whatever photos I have. Like, I want to classify them and label them, and maybe to just say, when I get the label, I put them as tags, and so I can rename them. And because the others I want to focus at the classified ones. And actually, as I said, I would like this talk to be a primer. So I guess image recognition actually exists long before all like the AI or machine learning exists. And previously, there are a lot of people, maybe large teams of doing strenuous work, labeling this is a car, this is a cat, or something. But now, as we get more of the this labeled data and also the better algorithms, we can actually do the neural network actually do it more automatically. And but for all of you here would know that this data is kind of the pioneer data sets to let people try to learn from their Hamilton digits. And people here would know, the neural network is actually similar to the biological neurons. Like, for the artificial ones, each circle is function, and so the first one probably see like whether there is a red dot or something, or then the next layer maybe we can tell is certain area having a straight line, and if yes, it's kind of telling the next one maybe is an eye, and then maybe it's a cat. And it's just like how the biological neurons get collecting in different strings of electrical currents to decide whether it's required to pass on the information. And people always talk about like the depth, like how many layers of the thin layers, and the size, like how many neurons in each layer. That would depend on that would tell you how much resource you would need. And okay. Well, there are of course lots of advantage for the CNN, and like it would, for example, we have a very large, high resolution of the CNN, but like for today, I would just like to talk in the end user approach. Like it would be simplest, and we are not dealing with sequential data. Like I'm not listening to text or speech or music that's continuous anyway. So I will do it as a simplest approach. Yeah, and these are the packages you keep hearing all day, like the Tensorflow, or like what tensor is just like some factors or more, the higher dimensions of these factors, and so the compute all these factors. The tensor they call it Tensorflow, and it handles all kinds of the AI operations. And because there are people usually do TensorFlow when they have more things to tweak, and when we are doing a simpler task, and we want to do we'll be using the carrot. Because it has the advantage of running on top of other so-called backends. Let's say, if the backends are the workers that actually do the job, like the TensorFlow, and we also have like CNTK and Piano that's supported by the carrots. So even if you change your team of workers, you just tell the manager that they should do the task, and he will tell them, I don't need to know the exact language of each and every worker in order to tell them to, say, hey, make a dish or something. And it's very convenient. And like scikit-learn like common data analysis package, and this OpenCV within is like they provides two sets for image recognition and method like for the data visualization. Also, you can read and output images during our inspection of data. So for the application, at first I was hoping to sort my images by type, and for the interest of time and also the ease of implementation, because it's not fun seeing me doing all the data cleaning, and I just use Instagram photos as a demo case. Because when you download it from the web page, it's already all in squares, and you always see this board, and should be easier to print. And like, it's kind of sad. He was a beginner. I was feeling like, oh, I'm a baby with an embryo or before fertilized. So anyway, I would like to build on the shoulders of the giants. Like they have these like the competition, and he mentioned the ISMVC, and people form great teams and developing great models. So that's like the AlexNet, ResNet, they each have different features, like having different amounts of layers. They were sometimes jumping in layers to give the pass the information, and they are all nice for recognizing images. And for ImageNet, it also provides very large data sets to train these networks, so that I don't have to create or get the data sets and train it again myself. And Keras provides a very convenient way to do this. As I said, like simple code only. I can just import like from the built-in applications, and I call the import function. Similarly for the other, the networks, you can do this same thing. Like, and there are also, of course, you also import some supporting utilities as good at. And for example, just in a few lines, you can already recognize the images and get the results, like the top 3 results telling you what class, which is an ID, it is predicting, what's the name of the class, like is it the sky or something, and how sure the model think it is. And yeah, it's just to clean up some code also. When again, use the function, I just get that. Well, so I get some. Wait, I'm not supposed to. Yeah, it's here finally. Like, I get results. Well, some results. This was a photos I was taking on the podium of a mall. Like this cute child looking at the fancy dome that's working the lights inside. But I think I did like last Christmas. Well, there from these models, there I guess very funny results. Well, the top of predicted results is an umbrella. Well, I can't tell if for this part it kind of looks like an umbrella. Yeah, I can understand why it's doing so. And for two of the the VGG model, it also gives something that makes sense, like dome and lampshade. So maybe I can get something out of the models. But I also observed something very interesting, like the other models is telling me there's a comic book. There's also like digital cloud or something. So I think, should I really use these models? And let's look at more example. Sorry, it's not very clear. Let's switch the notable style. Anyway, for this one, because it's very typical, it's actually a waterfront along the sea, but most of the models tells is the next type, which is still acceptable. So let's say if I want to have a photo from nature, I can still do so. And there's another more photo. I was taking a photo next to a teddy bear, and there were some teddy bear results. Okay, so this. Oh, and here's another interesting thing that I observed. Again, and as just like the umbrella case, it's okay that it's predicting it's a castle, but it's actually the building where I'm working in, and which is full of labs. So maybe I work in a castle, very nice. And anyway, it's still a building. But like some models think it is a sea animal, probably from the shape of this cloud. And it is quite positive that the first 3 models, like the ResNet and the VGG, it predicts more making sense results. And I also observed that for like some dozen of my model prediction results, the exception that always predicts ping pong ball, and I don't know why. Yeah, so I was trying to as a problem solver approach, like can I see why is it making sense? So I go search for these ID online to see what other photos with the same ID look like. Okay, maybe it doesn't look like a castle, but for ping pong ball, why are we getting so many ping pong balls for even the photos I've just shown? Yeah, when I search like the class ID with ping pong ball, I guess results that shows like the top result as Pokeball, matchsticks, tennis ball, of all kinds. So whatever the photo is, you can get ping pong ball results. So, so I guess that's probably why I'm it messes up with the prediction metrics. So, what can I do next? Well, I have only in my laptop for my own computer, and it doesn't work to train so many networks for a purpose, just sorting photos anyway. So I guess we can just pick the best and least resource demanding one or two. For example, we can ensemble or like two of the best results, and take the top 3 and take a majority vote. And of course, it's not actually castle, it's actually a science building thing, but maybe I can do it in the previous, like using other like search. So I want to get a building, I can still find my photos. And but I'm not going to the right classification for now. Okay. I think so. For this, sorry, I haven't actually got the result for this, but this is something I also want to do. It's like there are so many things in daily life we actually can do. Like my friend has told me that yeah, she's here. Actually, on her iPhone, she can find some of her cat photos, but not all. But what can we do is actually sometimes we can train in the model to recognize our own cats. But if you keep like say several cats that look different, maybe you can also train our own models and test them out. So again, this just to discuss the possible applications. Okay. Yeah. So I think what I want to do next is like I want to try more options to refine the results. Like maybe we train in our own data sets instead of using in just a pre-trained data. Maybe just to remove the last few layers of the network. And maybe if ever like me or anyone is interested and refine and even develop new models for that. And actually, there are so many problems we can work on. And like for this is commonly there already have a solution. Like you can use the YOLO, you only live once. So box out. Let's say you have a cat and a dog. I just want a cat. You can already do that. Like selfies, you see, but like maybe if you have your own drawing style and you want to apply your own filter to your photos, you can do some like generative model for that, and there are lots more. So then here's the end. Let me apologize. I don't really have too much result for that. I'm still having a busy study, but some take-home message should be actually, and we can both learn and solve daily problems at the same time. And no free lunch, no free lunch. You can never expect that the latest network can predict it always, prima balls always. And so it's not. It may not be the case like latest or the biggest. It will always be the best. You have to try and refine every time. And as I said, I meant this talk to be kind of public for people even haven't coded before. So I hope to provide some catalog buzzwords so they can search and try to dive into this world. And yeah, there are so much to explore. And yeah, so yeah, the thing is like machine can learn. So can you is like, well, we are human, and like even when a machine can learn, we can always improve ourselves, and everyone can code, not just our current programmers. And I'm still reading on these very brilliant resources of people having the expertise, and in this I'm willing to share their knowledge, and I'm very grateful for that. And so thank you everyone. This is the end of my sharing. I'm not sure how many of you, I'm sure it's kind of like knows this story, but just remember, like commands or codes are just like styles. If you know the right ones and when to use them, you can work magic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions or comments to our speaker?
Could you go back to the slide with the books?
Oh, books. Sure. Yeah, it's just wait. Oh, wait.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'd just like to know how much do you feel you can accomplish on a single laptop without having to go to a larger hardware?
Oh, for a single laptop, I have to delete the model every time I want it. Yes. Yeah. And I also can only run like several images before I'm restarting my kernel and something. So in the end, and maybe if I really don't want to upload it to any other servers, or I have to be very patient, or but yeah, I get to learn something out of this. Thank you.
So very interesting topics. Question about how do you automate the classification? Because you mentioned if the algorithm classifies castle, it's not good for tagging, right? So you want to simplify to building. Maybe I want to classify my photo as, instead of boys and girls, I want to classify as family. So how do you simplify the classification?
Oh, sure. It's actually a step that's not yet done, but it's more on the language processing part. Like I'm imagining, because at first I was thinking in the image labels on the image that may have some hierarchy in the labeling, but maybe I can. You can try to look at the table. It's not quite hierarchical. No way directed acyclic graph. No way for that. And sometimes it's kind of overlapped. So I reckon I can't use the levels they provided. So I need to do some, for example, like lifehack to classify either like castle or cottage into buildings instead of using the existing tables. But for this part, I haven't worked on.
If there are no other questions, so let us thank our speaker again. We'll have a short break.